The letter Q is a very authoritative figure in Star Trek and James Bond, but it's also a conspiracy theory. And it's a conspiracy theory that certain part of the population, a certain amount of the population believe in so fervently that they will go and defend it without actually knowing what they're defending. So they'll say, yeah, the evidence points this way. Do you actually believe that these people are involved? Well, the evidence points to it. So it doesn't matter what I believe. The evidence points to it. The evidence points to it. And that's the interview with Jordan Sather and H.A. Goodman. Basically came down to again and again, QAnon doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. It's just people trolling, you know, the message board. It's not actually Trump or an organised resistance against the resistance. But some people believe it is, so much because they want to believe it is, and they have hope that everything's going to happen like that. They were the ones saying trust Sessions and trust the plan. Remember that? How did that work out? Because the deep state has more power than the president. I don't know why they think Trump is reigning in the deep state. That's what's going to happen when we get Kavanaugh in. He's going to reign in the deep state. How did that happen? How did that work out? Well, it didn't, did it? Because the deep state controls Trump. The deep state is the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, the DHS, and it controls Trump, doesn't it? Not the other way around. But let's be clear, if Hillary had won, the deep state wouldn't be exposed right now. It wouldn't be talked about on the news, on mainstream news channels. It's just like, the deep state is proof of no democracy. You can't have a cabal operating behind the scenes with Obama as its chief. And all these things that have happened to the world to betray democracy, to completely usurp democracy, and upend our civilization have been paid for by illegal budgets and black budgets, such as the money that went missing from the coffers, the Pentagon's coffers, and Donald Rumsfeld seems to have lost, and no one actually tracked it back. No one was that bothered. You didn't need those trillions of dollars. No, Donald Rumsfeld, you can just keep it. And then there's the whole Afghanistan war situation, which is just to keep drugs growing. We're in Afghanistan to keep opium growing, so we can keep exporting heroin and causing the opiate crisis, which we're supposedly, supposed to be helping, but we're actually causing. And then, not to mention, yesterday we just blew up a funeral home, 9 people or whatever dead, and it's just incidental. Every day, every few days this happens. Whether it's a funeral, mourners, whether it's someone at a wedding or whatever, we don't care, because it's a country we're at war with. Why are we at war with them? Because we're growing the drugs there and we're exporting all the heroin. So why are we at war with them? How is that allowed? We're allowed to just run the drug trade, legally, overtly. We're legally allowed to grow illegal drugs. So drug trade pays for black markets, but also the human trafficking operations pay massively, because people will buy people of all ages and abuse them in all horrible kind of ways because they are powerful and that's what they do. And this has been happening, and Trump has been reining it in. Trump has saved thousands and thousands of children, like 4,000 children. Every other administration has only saved a few hundred at most. Especially the Obama administration. They did not want human trafficking to stop. But it's not just the politicians. It's all of Hollywood. It's all the actors. Look at that actress in Smallville. She was running a human trafficking operation. Look at Robert De Niro. Documents in 1998 that show, court documents show he was running a human trafficking operation. Robert De Niro. Now you know why he hates Trump so much. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the celebrities that have expressed disdain for Trump are running human trafficking operations. If all of them, in fact. So Trump really isn't all that organised compared with the deep state. And these people seem to think that Trump has all the keys, that he can actually bring down the deep state, and that he is responsible for Q and all the messages in Q and giving us hope, etc., that somehow the deep state is going to get reined in, and Hillary and Obama and, John Podesta and all the emails are going to be read out in court, and all these fantasies going through people like Jordan Sather's head. It's not going to happen. If Hillary was going to go to jail, she would be in jail already. The system isn't designed to facilitate her going to jail. The system was built around people like Hillary. It wasn't built to facilitate her going to jail. And can you imagine the Linda Sarsour activated women's group and Black Lives Matter and all the Soros groups, etc., activating if Obama and Hillary were even indicted? It would be a mass civil war if that happened. Because they would know it was their last line of defence, and they would know the deep states, the machinations, the cabal, etc. They would know, the global elite, they would know they can't get Hillary or Obama to admit anything. They would know that would bring down the whole house of cards, and the whole house of cards can't come down. That's why Soros is so protected, by the way. You even mention his name now, you get called anti-Semitic. It's ridiculous. No one can actually call him out, even though he's overtly funding everything. So it becomes a conspiracy theory, even though following the money is an exact science. It's ridiculous. So, going back to what I think about Q. Well, I think that Q may have had legitimacy one time, but now it doesn't. Now it doesn't, because it says things like trust Sessions, trust the plan. It's just people trolling. It's not Trump. It's not Trump's people. He hasn't got control over the deep state, and none of these things seem to actually exist now. You know, some people say that WikiLeaks isn't even as it was since Julian Assange, you know, lost his account and then came back with following the Pope and following the UN, etc., and hasn't actually had any bombshell revelations since then. WikiLeaks hasn't really done a great deal in the last year. And because there's no one actually helping us out, there's no one like DC Leaks or anything, even though they were just a shill operation. We need more leaks, we need more revelations, we need more work done on the revelations we've already got. You know, we've got things like Project Veritas and WikiLeaks, and DC Leaks, etc. But having Q on the 4chan and 8chan boards it's akin to a religious cult. They feel like they've been saved, like the rapture is happening, because Q is still in communication with the people, and Q is supposedly run by some sort of Trump-approved programmer? I don't know. According to Jordan Sather, all the evidence shows that. But what evidence is there? There isn't any.